Friday, July 21st, 2023, Maneco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So we're still up in Yorkshire, North Yorkshire. It's a bit colder today, and there's a bit of a drizzle. So I'm in the trees here, a bit covered. And I didn't do a video yesterday, but yeah, that's the way it goes. Hopefully you enjoyed my interview I did with Jesse Day of Vancouver Resource Conference, Investment Conference, VRIC. If you haven't, it's on my channel. So today we're going to talk about the man who stabilized the monetary system for almost a millennia, yes, and how he did it, and what it's got to do with York, which is where we went to yesterday. We visited York, and I highly recommend you going, if you come around to this part of the world, to visit York. And York Minster, the cathedral there, is beautiful. And I also wanted to show you something, and at the end of the video I'm going to tell you, I'm going to ask you a question right now, and then if you're able to answer it, you might not need to go to the end of the video. But I bought this collection of old coins yesterday at the shop, a gift shop at the cathedral, or the Minster, York Minster, and it's Elizabeth II silver collection coin. They are not silver, and I knew that they weren't silver, but they're the old pre-decimal coins, pre-1971. I think it was February 15th when they brought decimalized coinage. And what does that mean? Well, it meant that the pound was going to be divided into 100, not into 240 pence. So here I've got a sixpence, a shilling, a florin, a half crown, and a crown. So if you want to know how much it's worth, these 5 coins are worth in terms of decimalized coins, wait till the end of the video and I'll let you know. Of course, they're not silver anymore. These are not silver. Even the pre-71 coins, they were copper and nickel. The last time the UK coinage had silver was 1946. But if you read the back here, they say that it is silver-looking coins. I don't think they should have said silver collection, but anyway. So now to the man who stabilized the monetary system for almost 1,000 years. And you're saying, who was that and how did he do it? Well, yesterday when we parked outside York, well, outside the walls, there's a wall that surrounds York, and we walked into the old town, or old York, and we made our way to the cathedral, or York Minster. And from afar I could see there's a statue, this statue here, and I said, that guy looks like he's in charge. And then we got closer, and it was Constantine the Great, or Constantine the First. He was a Roman emperor. He also kicked off the East Roman Empire, or Byzantium. He was the first emperor of Byzantium. He was around in the 4th century. So why is there a statue of him in York? Well, because back then he came over to Britain, which was one of the provinces of Rome, and he was with his father, who was the emperor, fighting a civil war, and his father died, and they named him emperor. He was crowned, whatever you called it at the time, emperor, in York. And York had a different name at the time. And I looked him up a little bit. I knew he was the one who said in this sign, I shall conquer, which is in hoc signo vinces, which is a very famous saying, IHS. But he also had monetary reforms, and he set up a gold-backed system. Not gold-back, it was just a gold system, because they didn't have paper money back then or currency, so it was just a gold coin called the solidus. And the solidus was circulated throughout that period from the 4th century to around the 11th century, when Byzantium started its decline, and it was very solid and very stable, and it was, I think, just over 6 grams of gold or thereabouts, maybe a little less, and it was 1/72nd of a pound of gold. So that's what he set up, and it helped the East Roman Empire, Byzantium, flourish for almost a millennia. Of course, the Ottomans finally conquered Constantinople, which was named after him. I think it was 1453, so that was the end of that. But yeah, that's how sound money gives stability. Of course, the Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire, didn't survive. Those monetary reforms were not implemented there, and it just collapsed or dissolved, that empire. So I thought that was very interesting. I didn't expect. I think I had read something about him being crowned or declared emperor in York in the book about the Middle Ages that I read by Dan Jones. So I wasn't surprised that there's a statue of him there, as you can see, sitting there. Yeah, and he looks like he's in charge, doesn't he? Well, he was emperor. So I thought that was interesting. So for all of those out there who say that gold is not money and that a gold standard doesn't work, it's unstable, well, just look at the Byzantium Empire or the East Roman Empire. The system lasted almost 1,000 years. I think the trick is to not cheat, not to have paper currency and debase it, or debase the coins. You have to be tough. So I'm going to go back to this in a second. First, I want to talk about what's going on in today's world, because that's the world we live in. I saw some stories yesterday, even though I didn't make a video, that for example, the head of Blackstone thinks inflation is finished, that new deals are going to come to the table, everything's going to pick up again. We've seen in the UK as well that inflation has come down, even though it's still rising. The CPI index still rising, just at a lower rate of 7.9. And I saw a really weird headline when I stopped to fill the tank of the car in a petrol or gas station. There's some newspaper headlines. They sell the newspapers, and you can read it, and it was in the Express. Apparently Jeremy Hunt is telling businesses now, he said, now that inflation has come down, you need to pass on savings. Well, inflation hasn't come down, Jeremy Hunt. Inflation's still rising by about 8%. So I don't know what world you live in. Blaming other people, the people who are not the ones to blame for inflation. The government, of course, with deficit spending, and the Bank of England printing money out of thin air. They're the ones who create the inflation. And I'm sure Constantine the Great, would have probably not been he probably would have abolished the Bank of England if he was here at the time, creating all that money out of thin air. And they probably would have been, you know what, I don't want to say the word on YouTube. But what else? Well, hopefully I'll speak with Clive Thompson on Sunday when I'll be back home. Hopefully I'll have him on the live stream. He's looked at the deficit spending in the U.S. and the debt, and he doesn't see any solutions. The only solution he sees to financing the massive debt that's going to be created in the next 10 years is for the Fed to print even more. He doesn't see where the demand for the debt is going to come from. So that's more deficit spending there. It's not stopping. We are at crisis level government deficit spending in the US, and I would say here in the UK too. The other headline I saw is that UK pension fund managers now, I forgot which one, but the guy said that yes, we're going to have a recession, and we're gonna buy bonds. That's going to be a good investment. Well, good luck with that, because you can have a recession and bonds can be a dog as well. Just look at the 1970s. Yes, the 2-year gilt yield and that did come off a couple of days ago after that CPI data, but if you look at this chart here, it just touched the previous high and now it's rebounding again. It might go down a bit more, but we're not out of the woods in terms of the gilt bear market or bond bear market, not just in the UK but everywhere around the world. If you're gonna buy bonds, you need to buy the very short-term ones, like 1 and 3 month, and that's it. And that's if you want to finance these governments, right? The people who are doing, who've done all kinds of things that I think are not really right in the last 3 years. So go ahead and finance them, if you will. And just another thing, the banks here in the UK, apparently they've raised the savings rates. Well, I saw my NatWest account a few days ago or last week. They raised it from 1.1 to 1.4. Another whoopee, you know, it should be more like 3 or 4% with the base rate at 5%. So, and I saw that jobless claims was a bit lower than expected. So the markets, I saw that gold did well yesterday. Silver was hit probably after the data. I wasn't following it closely. But yeah, I think it's still a good place to be, and Clive also thinks so, and hopefully I'll have him on Sunday if he can make it. So back to the Elizabeth II coin collection, not really silver. So what is the answer? How many new pence are they really worth? And by new pence I mean the pence or the pennies after 1971, when the currency was decimalized, and I think that was kind of a reset. And I think people lost out a lot, because whenever governments do these kinds of reforms, people lose out. So we have a sixpence, right? We have a shilling, which is 12 pence. We have a florin, which is 24 pence, or it's 2 shillings. We have a half crown, which is 30 pence. And we have a crown, which is 60 pence. So if we add them all up, we get 132 old pence. And there were 240 pence to the pound. So if you divide 132 into 240, you get 0.55. So these 5 coins here are worth 55p now. So you can see how they inflated it away. You get a 50p coin and a 5p coin for these 5 coins now. So that's how they do it. So that's the answer. And the other thing that's interesting about the Roman system of money is that they had the pound or libra or livre, the pound sign, and then they had the solidus and the denarii. So it's the pound SD, LSD if you want to call it, and that's the system that was used here in the UK up until 1971. So that monetary system of Constantine however you want to pronounce it, lasted a very long time. Granted, the metals were changed and debased. So yeah, pounds, shillings, and pence. So pounds, S for solidus or shilling, and then the D is for denarii or pence. So another interesting fact there about money and the history. So with that, I'm gonna wish you all a very good day. Today we're gonna go to the Wensleydale dairy or cheese factory. If you know about Wallace and Gromit, that story. It's about just over an hour from here, and so there you go. I wish you all a very good day. Take care. Bye.